the fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll cement this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host and my good friend, Devin. And today, we're here to give our thoughts and reflections on the series finale of Miss Marvel, episode 6, which is titled No Normal. And before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at FilmOptix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Devin, did you check out those 2022 Emmy nominations?
Yeah, as they were coming in, I was just seeing people tweeting about it.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I wasn't able to watch the live stream because I was at work, but I gotta say, man, I mean, there's some expected shows, to be here, especially for the drama series, which is the best picture winner type, best drama series. You got things like Euphoria, Severance making the list there. I've been watching. It's been pretty good. Stranger Things.
Just wait.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm all over the place because The Spectacular Spider-Man is on Netflix. And I feel like I can blow through this really quick. And I just got to the symbiote story arc, which famously is one of the best story arcs for Spider-Man with Eddie Brock and Venom. But yeah, it's just I've been trying to balance between that and Severance. I need to go back to Severance though. I feel like it maybe this weekend because those episodes are so long. And, with Spectacular Spider-Man, it's 24 minutes and then you're done. But yeah, it's been a ride for both. I'm 3 episodes in for Severance, so I got 6 more left. So, that got nominated. Squid Game was actually another big, that was a shock, honestly. I didn't know that was going to make it for best drama series, but it is very good.
Yeah, good luck in that category.
I mean, I don't know, man. There are some big heavy hitters here. I mean, I haven't watched Yellow Jackets, but that one, I hear it's really good. Succession, I've heard nothing but good things about. I do want to start watching that. I've been meaning to try to watch it forever. Ozark I never got into, but I hear it's good. Better Call Saul, I hear it's phenomenal. And yeah, it's a pretty big matchup for the drama series, but a few snubs here and there. No Stranger Things actors or actresses. I was very shocked, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, the whole Stranger Things thing is just strange in general because they're splitting it up between the 2 parts of the season. So one's going to be this year and the second one's going to be next year. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. So for everyone out there, before we get into our actual review, sorry, we promised we would do a little bit of Emmy talk beforehand, some pre-talk, I guess you could call it. But yes, so for Stranger Things, only the first 7 episodes are eligible for this year's Emmys. Since the last 2 episodes did not air until after Emmy voting concluded, it has to be for next year, which and I was tweeting about this. I didn't know if that was a genius move by Netflix or if that was just them shooting themselves in the foot because it kind of works out for them because, like you said, they now have 2 years of the same season, back to back that they can, start marketing for this, but it's all the same season, so it's very weird.
Yeah, the same thing happened for Better Call Saul and their split season from that final season.
Oh, okay, so that is what happened. Okay, I got you. It's very confusing when it comes to this. I'm not sure if that is a Netflix fault thing or if that is a the Television Academy when it comes to all of that. So I really don't know for the Emmys. I don't know who it really falls on, but the Emmys will air live, coast to coast, 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday, September 12th on NBC. So definitely check that out. We'll put a link to all of the nominees in the episodes down below. We just don't have time to go through everything because we're here to talk about some Miss Marvel season finale, y'all. We're going to get into all the weeds, all of the meat and potatoes of this episode because this has definitely changed the course of the MCU. And we're very, very excited to talk about it. So, Devin, are you ready just to dive in there? Just dive back into Jersey. We're going home.
I was born ready.
You say we're born ready. Oh okay.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to Miss Marvel, episode 6.
Maybe they're right. I spend too much time in Fantasyland.
That is not you.
It's not really the brown girls from Jersey City who save the world. That's a fantasy too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back, and you just heard a little snippet of the trailer for Miss Marvel. Again, we are going to be covering episode 6, which is the season finale / series finale, I guess you could say, because, Marvel loves sticking to those, 6-episode arcs, which I'm sure we'll get back into. I feel like we bring this up a lot because we literally covered every single Marvel property out there when it comes to the TV shows, at least. This makes, 6 or 7? No, 7 shows altogether. 6 are live action. So that's always fun. But ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, if you're not familiar how we operate here on the show, we always get into our initial reactions first, which is our non-spoiler section. Then we hop on into spoilers, and we'll give you guys a little bit of a warning there. And trust me, you'll know when it's coming. And then we get into our Easter eggs, our final thoughts, and then our ratings. As I've mentioned on a past episode, moving forward with any TV show that we do cover that is a week-to-week basis, we're not going to give our ratings until the end of the show because sometimes I feel like there's a bit of a competition thing going on. Everyone has to rank everything all the time. And at first I found it to be very fun and rank each episode, but I get very tired of it. I don't know about you, Devin, but I'm very, very tired of it. So I think from here on out, when it comes to us covering TV shows weekly, we're not going to give our actual ratings until the show finishes because I just feel like it's fair to the TV show. Obviously, we can give our thoughts, but yeah, I think we had mentioned that a few episodes back, but I can't remember which episode it was. It might have been a Miss Marvel episode, so I'm not entirely sure.
Well, here we are at the end. It's time for the reckoning.
The reckoning. We've come to the end of the road here. So, Devin, why don't you go ahead and give your initial reactions to Miss Marvel?
Yeah, they pulled it off. I mean, it was a pleasant surprise. I think this is probably the best finale to an MCU show since Loki. I might actually have it second behind Loki as far as finales go, but it was just a great way to end it. I mean, it all comes together. We get some very surprise reveals at the end that we'll get into, but they just did a great job of kind of bringing all the characters back together and setting up this kind of Home Alone high school storyline that just becomes really fun and energetic, and there's just a lot going on. We get some evolutions for Kamala and her powers. There's just so much going on here, and it all wraps up so nicely. And then the end is just the icing on top. It just changes everything for the future of the MCU, which I don't think anybody really expected, but it's going to be crazy.
I would definitely agree with you there, Devin. Since Marvel decided to, just go past the 6 episode arc, and I think you actually sent me a little snippet from, I think it was Eric Kripke from the Boys, where he said a lot of filmmakers are comfortable with the idea that they can give you like a 10 hours of like a movie where nothing happens until the 8th hour. And it's, they're really making like that 10-hour movie type situation. And it's like, well, no, it's supposed to be a TV show. I feel like Miss Marvel was serialized enough to kind of stray away from the pack from the rest of the other MCU shows. But I really did enjoy the finale. It, like you said, it had that Home Alone, the big battle at the school, defending the school, or trying to defend the school at least, away from damage control. They definitely tried to tie in a few threat storylines together with the Jinn and of course damage control. I really like how it really was about, not just Miss Marvel and her friends, but like the city also fighting back in a way.
The classic Spider-Man to getting the city behind you.
Yeah, he's like, you messed with one of us, you messed with all of us. Yeah, definitely some Spider-Man heavy vibes there. I believe this does take place before No Way Home, at least the season finale, because when you're watching it, there is like an overshot of the Statue of Liberty, and it is not MCU-ified yet. So I believe this does happen before the events of No Way Home.
Yeah, I wish the MCU did a better job of giving us a clearer timeline of when these shows are set, because they kind of do it like when a movie comes out, they'll put it on Disney Plus and they'll be like in the order of the timeline, but it just gets messy with all these releases.
Yeah, I do agree there, and sometimes and I understand they can't necessarily. I mean, it would be nice if they were just to release these in like timeline order, but we could be getting, obviously, we got No Way Home, which is in phase 4, which happens way after the events of Miss Marvel. At least that's what I'm seeing on my side, but it is it's kind of all over the place, but I digress. I really just enjoyed this finale. Everything that it came with, Kamala has really gone through a, not just a personal journey, but a spiritual journey as well, when it comes to her identity and trying to figure out who she is in the world. This episode definitely gives us some more Bruno love that we've been missing for the past 2 episodes. Bruno is back, and he's got a few nice new upgrades we'll definitely talk about here in a bit. But yeah, it was a really great time. I've thoroughly enjoyed this series so far. And like I just said, it's only just the 6 episode arc that really just keeps going back to back, where and I think Heavy Spoilers also said it, where he did enjoy this season so much, but it's like, they keep sticking to this 6 episode arc.
Yeah, like the story and the characters and all of it's there, but it's just when you stick to that structure over and over again, it just kind of restricts you.
Yeah, it's very tough. I was actually talking to Mike Thomas about everything, and he had said that I actually showed him the Eric Kripke quote about filmmakers just wanting to make a 10-hour movie and then nothing happens until the final hour. This is actually coming from Mike Thomas over at the Novice Cinephile and over at the Amateur Otaku podcast and the Chatter After podcast, as well as Collider. He does a lot of great stuff, but I was talking to him earlier today, and he mentioned that Marvel does this with their shows, meaning the 6 hour feeling like a 6 hour movie, or more so like 6-8 hour movie. He's saying that this is why their shows don't always land, and they still follow the 3-act structure, but instead of applying it to each individual episode, the show is a 6-hour movie, meaning that Act 2 of the story starts in episode 3, making it feel like a drag in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it rushes to the finale. So that was Mike's quote that I was talking to him earlier about, and I think he hit the nail on the head, and that's a lot of what Heavy Spoilers was saying as well, where these season finales do feel rushed. I mean, I did enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but it felt a little bit rushed to me. Just getting to like 6 episodes, it's like, wow, it's only been 6 weeks. I feel like we need at least 2 to 3 more weeks to flesh out the story and these characters. But, that's just something, a little bit of word of wisdom from Mike Thomas here on the Film Optix podcast. So, Devin, are you ready just to dive into spoilers? Because we got to talk about some things here.
There's a big word that is used in this episode.
Yes. There's a few big words that are used in this episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your first spoiler warning for Miss Marvel episode 6, the finale again. That is your second spoiler warning for Miss Marvel episode 6. So if you haven't seen it, definitely turn back, go watch it. It's about a cool 45-ish minutes. Definitely. So I guess we're just going to get into it.
That's just all you need to hear, and you just immediately know what's coming.
That brought a smile to my face. Like to know that Miss Marvel is a mutant.
Yes, that is the giant reveal at the end here.
And I love it. It's not even a post-credit scene. It's actually happens during the runtime of the episode. And it is crazy to think that, because I was watching a Heavy Spoilers video, and I did not know this because, again, I just don't read comics as much as I used to when I was younger. It's been a long, long time. But apparently Miss Marvel was introduced as a Inhuman. But the reason why she was introduced that way is because at the time, Fox had the rights to X-Men. So instead of calling them mutants, they had to call them Inhumans.
Yeah, that was the time frame where there was supposed to be an Inhumans movie in the MCU that never came out, and they were really trying to make the Inhumans more of a thing than they actually were in reality, like as far as having an actual fan base, just because they didn't have mutants to work with. They wanted something that was similar, but they were trying to really force it, and it just didn't work. And I think Feige recognized that. It does make Multiverse of Madness interesting, because it's like, okay, so Black Bolt's in there, he's an Inhuman, but is he an Inhuman? Or if he is an Inhuman, was that whole team just kind of just a fun little wink and a head nod? Like, Kevin Feige did mention that John Krasinski was like a fan casting that they made come to life. So it kind of makes you wonder whether that he has a future as Reed Richards, because it could just be like they just gave us that Illuminati just kind of as a one-off. It's kind of a fun little casting choice, and because it seems like they are not moving forward with Inhumans, because we're getting mutants, and Kamala Khan is a mutant as of now. So it's interesting.
I think when it came to Multiverse of Madness, they were able to just do a lot of crazy things with that movie, clearly, but like you said, the fan casting for John Krasinski, it's kind of just like a one-off, like they're in this space where, Doctor Strange has been held captive by this Illuminati from a different universe. And then obviously Wanda comes in a little bit later and, fries everybody. But I feel like it was just I feel like it was another fan service type situation that's going on there. And when it came to Black Bolt, because I never really watched the Inhumans. I really tried.
I've seen some scenes on YouTube, and oh boy, that is rough. Like, you can see why they're avoiding it.
Yeah, definitely. So I think adding Black Bolt into Multiverse of Madness, obviously him being an Inhuman, was just, hey, the Inhumans exist, but not in the universe that Marvel is trying to follow.
Maybe in time it'll make more sense, but as of right now, it just kind of muddies things up, because it didn't have to be Black Bolt. It could have been literally anybody. And then this would have been a lot less confusing, because If it wasn't Black Bolt, we'd just be like, all right, Inhumans don't exist. It'd be that easy. But I guess they just want to keep it on the table in case they ever do want to go back to them. But we're moving on with the mutants. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I think that's what anyone cares about. And when it comes to this show, for San Diego Comic-Con's coming up here pretty quickly. We kind of, we've talked about in the past how, Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel kind of crossed over. I still stand by and think that Obi-Wan should have debuted on Star Wars Day instead of Star Wars Celebration, because it really just made no sense. And, they have their own schedule. I get it. But yeah, when it comes to Miss Marvel, she is a mutant. And I love how they kind of just throw it in there. It doesn't feel shoehorned in. And, she's just talking to Bruno. And it's like, hey, I've noticed this thing where, I've tested the rest of your family's genes, which...
Yeah, they're legitimate questions that would come up. And
I love how Kamala Khan is just, we'll be treated like any other, superhuman out there, like all the discrimination and whatnot. But yeah, man, I know we got a little bit off topic, not really off topic, but from everything that we were talking about Miss Marvel. But just to get a little bit back on track, yeah, after the there's a lot to talk about, but overall I really just liked how they were able to we finally see Miss Marvel in her classic Miss Marvel suit, and her mother gives it to her, which I thought was really, really nice.
And it looks great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Just the conversations in this episode, what it means to be a hero. And, when they go to the mosque, when the damage control, who I love how heavy spoilers is like, oh, damage control comes in, causes more damage than actually controlling the damage. But
yeah, I love how they depicted the people in the mosque, just how used they are to the government just being overbearing and surveilling them. Sadly, that's just real life, and that's just what they have to deal with. But it's funny how they just all have their IDs ready, and they all have excuses, and they all have ways to get around it because they're so used to it.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. They were like, yeah, we've been through this before. They were like, it wasn't even that oh, let me give this out of my wallet. Oh, it's already in my hand and I know you're coming. And it's like,
and then
yes.
when that chick at the DODC was like, these people shouldn't have powers. And then her partner was like, what? And then she was like, kids. And it's like, okay, sure. That's what you meant.
Yeah, a lot of questionable, slight prejudice remarks there. I was like, whoa. But yeah, kids, I mean, whatever. It's so dumb. But yeah, I like how they added that for her character, because there might be people in the MCU that think that way. And, as we've followed Kamala on her journey, it has been, she even mentioned it herself towards the beginning. I think it was either episode 1 or 2 where it's it's not the brown girl's job from Jersey City to save the world type, thing. So it's kind of there's, representation matters. And Iman Vellani is over the moon when it came to, this 2-year project that they were able to put together. And I got to say, job well done. Regardless, I do wish it was a little bit longer, but I would say job well done for sure. But I'll pass it back over to Devin if there's anything you wanted to mention that we haven't gotten to yet before we close out.
Yeah, we also got to mention that post-credit scene. We get a nice cameo. It was definitely expected. I feel like it just had to happen because of the nature of this character. But Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, makes an appearance. Very suddenly. So I wanted to talk about that actually for a second. Thank you for bringing that up. So some people are thinking, after her bangle starts to glow, that Kamala and Carol switch places. But I did a little bit of research, and apparently in the comics, she actually shapeshifts into Captain Marvel. So, but we're not sure if that's what's happening, because for a second I thought that she did shapeshift because she still when it switches over to Brie Larson, she still kind of has the glowing hands for a second, but then she picks up
the like broken poster of her, and then she looks around, but then she's like, oh no. But so like I don't really know which one it is. Like, well, what do you think?
I'm not sure which one it is. All I know is that it's probably just going to lead right into to the Marvels, and I'm very excited for that movie. I mean, Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and do we have an official name for her yet? Photon?
So yeah, I don't know, because she goes by many names. I don't know which.
It's Monica Rambeau, but whatever name they give her, I'm very excited to see her again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She was definitely like one of the best parts of WandaVision. I mean, I still love that show like to this day, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. Like, this really does change the MCU forever.
We've been waiting to hear that word for how long now?
Since Phase 3, because everyone knew it wasn't coming in Phase 3, but during Phase 3 is when Marvel was able to acquire those rights back. I mean, the only thing they need back is Spider-Man. Just give them back the Spider-Man film rights.
Yeah, that's the final piece of the puzzle. And we can put to bed that Sony-verse.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin Feige warned them not to get carried away now. I mean, he's still a good guy.
Beyond carried away with El Muerto.
It's just, where will it end? Where will it end? I don't know.
There's going to be an Aunt May movie at some point.
There's
going to be a Ned movie.
There's going to be a Ned movie. There's going to be a Flash Thompson movie where Flash is just living out his days at, where did he go to? Boston?
Yeah, MIT,
yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to get what was her name? Betty, I think it was Ned's like vacation girlfriend from Noah. I'm not Noah.
Any and all obscure character in the Spideyverse. It's just fair game for them.
Yeah, honestly, we're gonna get. I mean, we've already gotten some mess already, but like, I was looking up that not Spider-Verse. I'm sorry, the Madam Web movie, and like, I'm loving the cast. You know, we got Sydney Sweeney, we got some Dakota Johnson. I'm like, okay, but like, what is this movie? Like, other people have been like added to the cast, and like, I just don't know what this is supposed to be. But hopefully, maybe they'll learn the lesson.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows at all. But, Devin, we're coming up on time here. So let's get into our final thoughts and ratings. So I'll pass it back over to you so you can give your final thoughts and ratings. Then I'll give mine, and we're going to peace on out of here.
So, yeah, as far as the finale, I think it was great. And like I mentioned before, right up there with Loki. I'd probably give the finale like a 90 overall. Just really solid. As far as the season as a whole, it definitely had its ups and downs. Like, I'd say the first 2 episodes were really solid, and the third one kind of took a bit of a dip. I really liked the fourth one. That was when the Red Daggers get introduced, and then the fifth one definitely took a dip down in quality just because it felt so rushed and everything. But they picked it back up for the finale, so I'm glad they kind of fixed that issue with the finale being a bit weaker. It seemed to be a trend that was happening, but yeah, overall, I'd give the series probably like a solid 80, 81. Like, definitely in that upper middle class as far as the MCU shows go. I'd say it's above Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, What If. I'd say it's above them, but still below WandaVision, Loki, and Moon Knight for me. They're still right in the middle there.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. I would probably go with a 90 for this single episode for the series finale as well. Like I've said before, you know, I like Devin has even mentioned it before. You know, we're big coming of age fans here, so this is definitely a fantastic coming of age story. I love what they have done with Kamala's story here, and you know, just the fact that Iman Vellani has enjoyed this entire, you know, journey herself just makes it all the better, because you know, everyone who is involved really put a lot of love and care into this. And I guess, so I didn't realize that she had like her unbiggin like whole thing, because I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, but we forgot to mention that she gets her like full power set towards the end, where she's embiggening her whole body and arms and legs and everything, and it worked. It wasn't as weird skin flesh in beginning. It was cosmic in beginning.
Yeah, and beginning. But definitely, for this entire series, I would probably give it like a solid 85. You know, it's just a lot of the issues from each series, like we've mentioned before, just comes from the 6-story arc. I mean, I feel like it could be done, but like they're not changing the formula, even not just to give us more episodes, but like, you know, for the beginning, middle, and end. I feel like if you're gonna do the for like these acts, but like Mike said earlier, you know, these shows need to be more serialized, and we kind of mentioned that on our Solar Opposite season 3 review, which people can go listen to. That, you know, it's there's certain storylines within there that everything's starting to feel more serialized. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think I really like this. This might be my top 3, and I'm not sure if I have like a ranking or anything, but top 3 for sure is WandaVision, Loki, and Ms. Marvel. I don't know where number 1 would be right now because they're all just so good. But definitely, I have thoroughly enjoyed pretty much every series that we've gotten from Marvel, outside of like Falcon and What If is okay as well. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's on to She-Hulk. So we got that coming up. So that pretty much concludes our review here of Ms. Marvel, episode 6, the series finale. Sad face there because there's no more episodes left, but Marvel is finally giving us a break here. You know, didn't mean to sound like we're actually sponsored by Marvel. It'd be pretty cool if we were, but definitely just on the streaming side, you know, we have like She-Hulk and Cassian Andor coming up here, but ladies and gentlemen, if you've liked what you've heard here on the show today, please subscribe to our podcast on podcast platforms of your choice, and make sure to share an episode of our podcast with a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, your lover, whoever it may be. Make sure to share an episode of the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. And really quick, what's coming up on the podcast here, since we are done with our Ms. Marvel coverage here, you can listen to all of our shenanigans that we've talked about within these past 6 weeks. We just released our Solar Opposite Season 3 review, which is a non-spoiler review for people to go check out, as well as our Thor Love and Thunder review and our Umbrella Academy Season 3 review, which is also non-spoiler. And of course, you know, we got the Emmys coming up, even though, you know, none of the amazing performances from Stranger Things 4 made it to the Emmys. Definitely go check out our Stranger Things 4 Volume 1 and 2 review separately. We've had some amazing guests join us on there. I guess it's on to the Emmys here in a bit. I would definitely love for us to cover that. That's not till like September though, so we got a little bit of time there. Kind of odd that it's on a Monday though. I feel like that's a little weird. I feel like this should be more of like a weekend event type thing, but hey, it is what it is. Coming up for us, Devin, what is the name of that Netflix movie that we're supposed to be covering?
The Gray Man.
The Gray Man. So definitely check out keep a lookout for our episode of The Gray Man, which should be hitting probably Monday, July 18th, 2022. As of this recording, we are recording on a Wednesday for you guys. So yeah, other than that, just keep following us on Twitter. You know, we're in a bit of a break spell here. Oh, we have Nope coming up soon. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that.
That's next
week. Is it time already? So yeah, there we go. We got some Nope movie review coming up for you guys. Jordan Peele back in the director's chair. Very excited for that. So with all that said, we hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys next time. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian. We'll see you guys in the next one.